Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Truck again. Truck Terror, what's going on? Hey, check it out, man. I got a story. We're gonna go into story time. So I got a few stories that, I wasn't gonna share, but I'll share with you guys. You know what I'm saying? And this story pretty much talks about the time where I just like didn't carry a gun. When I stopped carrying a gun, probably when I stopped carrying a gun illegally in Jersey, about '97 when I moved out to the suburbs. Right, so. This particular incident, I'll tell you about this. It's a long story, so buckle up, get yourself some popcorn and everything. Here it goes. So, all right, my major thing back in the day when I was, young and everything, is this happened around 2000. I used to go hang with my boys. We go get in the car, we ride around. I had a nice Alpine sound system, if y'all remember that. They were real popular. So this is about 2000. I had a real nice car, tinted windows all the way around and everything. And basically, we ride around, try to get phone numbers from girls, so we can go on the movies with them later on at night or hang out with them, hang at the house with them or something like that. Or we bring them back to my boy spot that was in Camden, right? So basically, me and my boy, big, they call him Fat Boy. His nickname was Fat Boy. I never call him Fat Boy. I call him something else. I actually call him his real name. So I go by Fat Boy house. We at his house real quick. We hanging out. We laughing, joking. Say we're getting bored. So we get up into my car. We go for a ride. So we go for a ride. We riding around. He lived in White Fairview. For you, those of you from Camden, I know some of you guys subscribe to me. He lived in White Fairview, off near Merrimack, right off of the bridge, into White Fairview. Right. So basically, we go riding around. We having fun, playing music loud and everything. I had a loud system, and so we head out to East Camden to the projects out East Camden. We actually saw, actually not projects, it's just apartments. I used to call them projects, but they're really just apartments. So we go out to this apartment complex out East Camden, and basically we saw two girls. One girl we knew, her name was Tianbe. You know what I'm saying? The other girl, I didn't know. I never saw her before, but yo, she looked just like Aaliyah. No lie. People, my one of my most popular video, people say, well, she didn't look like Holly Berry's daughter. I was like, look, they never been to Cam. Cam got some of the most beautiful chicks in the world on earth, right? So, and this girl actually was on the front cover of Source magazine back then because she was a singer as well. So I saw her. I saw her first. So I was blowing the horn, like waving her over, come talk to me, come talk to me. So she came over. She's in my car window, talking to me. But my boy, Fat Boy, he did what everybody always accused him of doing. He was like, yo, oh, yo, don't, check it out, man. Why don't you come talk to me? I'll come by and pick you up in my Lexus. I'll take you to movies. I was like, oh, yo, he pulled the Lexus card on me, man. I'm like, yo, my car was nice, but it wasn't nice as a Lexus. Back then in like 2000, the late the 90s and 2000, Lexus was doing Mercedes dirty, Cadillac dirty. Everybody wanted a Lexus, right? So he had one. He had a real nice one, right? So he's like, she runs around the front of my car like, to talk to him. And he's like, yeah, 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 it's so cool. My name is so and so. Your name is, he get all the digits, the information, and all that. Like, yo, yo. And she leaves, like, well, what time you gonna come back, And he's like, I'll be back in about a half hour, right? Because we are on the opposite side of town, right? So he's like, yo, hurry up, hurry up. When she leaves, he's like, hurry up, man, hurry up. Go pick her. I say, man, why you gonna pull the Lexus thing out on me? This is the first time he ever did that to me. Some of my other boys, they would say, yo, he always pulling that Lexus thing out when he can't talk to a girl. He trying to get a girl's, what do you call it, attention and all that. So I was like, oh, this dude got the Lexus thing on me. So I said, fine. So I pulled off, but I pulled off slow, man. I was driving like a snail in molasses in the wintertime. I did that on purpose, bro. I took my time. Man, what you doing, man? Hurry up, hurry up. I'm like, yo, I'm taking my time, homie. I'm taking my time. You shouldn't have pulled that Lexus there. I could see if she came to you first, I wouldn't have said that. I drove you fast as I could to your house. Right? I took the shortcut. I took the long way. I was doing speed limit. He's like, man, hurry up, man. I was like, yo, I gotta pay attention to safety rules, man. I don't want no ticket. Man, ain't nobody gonna give you no ticket, man. Ain't nobody gonna give you no ticket up in the hood. I was like, yo, so I just kept going slow. You know what I'm saying? About 20 minutes later, on a trip that would typically took me 15 minutes or 10 minutes if I took the highway to his house, right? We get to the top of his street, and I'm like driving like 5 miles per hour. I got my hands on the steering wheel, and I'm driving like this. He's like, man, stop playing. He's like, man, stop playing, stop playing, stop playing. And so I'm doing like 5 miles per hour, right? I'm looking out the window like an old lady and everything. So I'm doing, we get close to his car. I get a little slower. You know what I'm saying? Then the next thing you know, he said, let me out, let me out. I said, he's unbuckling his seatbelt and all that, so trying to get out the car. And I said, oh, is that your car? And I just kept driving at 5 miles per hour. This joker jumped out my car. He jumped out my car at 5 miles per hour to get in this car. So I said, die. He really like her, huh? So what I did was I pulled up maybe 3 or 4 car lengths, and I stopped. Because he couldn't get around me. So he got in this car, I heard he started up, vroom. He pulled out all hard and everything. Then I was just sitting there like, he blowing his horn. He yelling at me, man, hurry up. Man, he cussed me out, motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just driving down the road 5 miles an hour like I'm Mr. Magoo, right? So, okay, long story short, okay, that was the first part. So, maybe 3 days later, I stopped by his house, right? And I knock on the door, and some little kids answer the door. I'm like, oh, who are these little kids? I'm like, I know his sisters. Well, they ain't their kids, right? Their sisters, his sisters like my sisters. So I know them. Like, what are these kids? Cousins from out of town? You know what I'm saying? And then when I walked in the house, on top of the big old TV he had, that's when TVs, before they went flat screen, it used to be big TVs with like 27, 28 inches or whatever. They're huge, right? So on top of this TV, he had a picture of that girl. I mean, huge, man. It was about this big, sitting on top of the TV. I was like, what? Right? So then the kids, after they let me in, they jumping up and down on the green leather couch. I was like, yo, get off that couch, man. They was like, you ain't gotta do that. This is our house. I was like, oh, it's your house. Oh, so I'm calling him from upstairs. I'm sitting in the dining room just watching these little kids jump up and down on the leather couch. He come down the stairs. Oh, no, actually, she came down the stairs first, and she was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh, I'm doing great. How you doing, right? I'm like, oh, wow, okay. You know what I'm saying? Then she went back upstairs. He came downstairs, and he sits down in the living room across from her. I said, yo. I'm looking at him like, yo, you got house guests, bro? So, well, I'm going to cut this down. There's a lot more in it, right? But she had moved in with her kids. Okay, fine. Grown man. He was a barber. My boy actually passed like last year. Well, 2018. He was a barber. He had his own barbershop. Grown man, do what he wanted to, right? So, unfortunately, though, her girl had some issues. So, unfortunately, one night he was sitting in the living room with his boys watching the football game. I wasn't there, and she was upstairs with some wine, and she wanted to spend some quality time with him. But he was saying, look, after we finish watching the game, I'll come out, I'll spend some time with you. He was like, no. She was like, she was like, no. So they got an argument. They're going back and forth. You know how it go. And, man, she came downstairs with the wine bottle she had, and she broke it on the banister. And then she started chasing the dudes out the house and chased him out the house. But he stood at the screen door, one of those screen doors with the screens that go all the way down. And he held the screen so she couldn't get out. And then she stabbed me like 8 times in the gut with the broken bottle. So I'm at home chilling. And I get a phone call, I think, from his sister telling me that, the fat boy got stabbed up. And I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, I didn't know what. And then she told me She didn't have any details, so I went. Told me that he was at Cooper Hospital. So I didn't know what was going on. So that time I did carry my gun. I grabbed the gun because I had to go to the hospital to see my homies, and my homie and all the other homies. The whole crew was down at the hospital. I mean, he was packed. The emergency room was packed. Because we thought when we heard he got stabbed up, we thought it was a dude that did it. So we were even though I was in Christ in them days and stuff like that. This dude's like my brother, for real. So I was still. I think I was just like really fresh out of the street. So I was like, look, I'm gonna have to tell Jesus time out. This is my brother, right? So sorry to say that, but plus I had to bring a gun just in case somebody was waiting for us outside of the hospital. I didn't know all the different like kind of things that was going on. So I got to the hospital and they had a magtometron, one of the big things like they have in the prisons, checking people for guns and stuff. This is Camden, Cooper Hospital. And actually, I went through it and it went off. All the lights was going gling, 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 gling. And I was like, oh, man. I turned, and the security guard stands behind a bulletproof glass. It's not like they standing there right next to you and they lock you in. You can't go in the front door until they open that door. It's sophisticated like a prison. So I was like, look, and they can lock the door behind you. So basically, I was like, yo, man, I ain't got no gun, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I patted my waist and all that stuff because I knew how to hide a gun real well back then. And I still do, right? So basically, I lifted up my shirt and everything. And basically, I actually showed them I had this big belt buckle like this. Back then, those big belt buckles was real popular. I said, it's probably my belt buckle, man, because, and, he let me go. He let me go. And so I got in, I found out the details, I found out it was a girl, and I found out it was that girl. I was like, oh, snap. And actually, I always tell him, man, I'm so glad you picked her up instead of me. Because, man, that would have been me up in the hospital. She probably killed me behind, you know what I'm saying? But we used to joke like that. But, yeah, so the aftermath of that, my boy was in the hospital for, I think, for like at least a week or two. She cut him up pretty bad and he was in the house. He didn't go back to his regular house because he was getting threatened. Some people were telling him don't press charges and all that kind of stuff. She was a mom. She had 4 kids. To be honest with you, and her bail was super high. She was in the county jail, so she had some cousins that was in the gangsters and all that stuff, drug dealers and all that petty small drug dealers, but sometimes they worse than the big drug dealers, right? So basically, he went to go live with his mom out in Pennsauken. So one day I said, let me go stop by. He's been in the house too long. He was in the house for like 2 weeks in the league because, he's stitched up and all that nonsense. So I said, let me get him out the house. So I rode down to his mom's house, picked him up, and took him for a ride. I think I took his brother, and maybe 2 other dudes. I forgot I had a big car, a sedan back then. And we were riding around just having fun, trying to get his mind off of what happened. Because, he really cared for this girl. And he was doing a man thing. He was doing a grown man thing. He was taking care of her and her kids. Gave them a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? And then for that to happen, it kind of shocked him. You know what I'm saying? So, we're riding around. And we're over there by Crestberry Apartments right down the street from his house. And we're at the top of you guys from Cam, the street where it used to be a 2-way, it's a 1-way now. They shut it down to a 1-way next to stop the drug flow, right? So we're at the top of the street, and I seen this girl on the left hand side. I said, "Woo, look at she real pretty." I'm trying to take his mind off of everything. At this point, I'm like, I don't want to deal with no chicks from Canada ever again, right? After that, right? It ain't gonna happen to me, right? So the girl is out front, and then a dude comes out the house, and I'm just staring at the girl, right? But I didn't have a gun on me because I just didn't feel the need. It wasn't my beef. I broke all my own rules. My own rules told me if your boy got beef, you got beef. It's 100% your problem, right? It is. But I was really trying to live the right life in Christ and all that. I was like, I can't do it. I did that at the hospital. I almost got locked. I could have got locked up for that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I can't keep risking my life because I was doing very well for myself. Financially, I had a lot of stuff going. I was even about to go to Bible school, Bible college. You know what I'm saying? So I left my gun home, even though that before I left the house, my instinct told me you need to grab a gun, a small one, a big one, whatever. You need something because you'll be out at night. And I didn't, man. I didn't listen to my instincts. And that dude that came out the house was actually the cousin that was threatening my boy, Fat Boy, about not pressing charges and testifying in court. So he sees me staring at the girl, which would be natural because the girl wound out to be his cousin. So he wasn't worried about me sweating her. But when he saw my boy in the front seat, it was a problem. So I ride by, I looked at him, I did like this, what I'm saying, not, just indicate that I'm not looking, for no problems, and I wasn't, I'm just trying to, keep my boy out of trouble and, make you feel better, right? So we turned, made a left, I'm sorry, right, up and back into White Fairview, you know what I'm saying? And this dude, I see in the rearview mirror that he ran out from the yard and ran right into the house. I said, yo, he gonna come after us. And I told my boys, I said, yo, he's gonna come at you. They was like, yo, you got your stuff. And I said, don't worry. I said, don't worry about it. I didn't tell them that I had no gun because I don't know what they would have did, right? So I go up into White Fairview and I turn back, right, heading back the same way to head out to Centerville, right? And basically, this dude hopped in his car, his cousin's car, the girl's car. I'd never forget. It was a gray Nissan Altima. He ran up, behind us hard, and I was like, "Oh, here we go!" Right? So I wasn't scared. Scared. I was like, "Oh, here we go." If he got a gun, he might shoot it, but I doubt it. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped, pulled over, and out of instinct, I made a mistake. Out of instinct, I put him in a clandestine area in Camden. Anybody knows anything about Camden and Crestbury and White Fairview? Between Crestbury and White Fairview, there's a bridge, and in between there is nothing but river and woods. That's it. There's nothing. There's no houses, right? So I took him there out of instinct because if I had a gun, that's where I would have took him at. So if I had to shoot, would nobody see nothing? They'd have heard it, but they wouldn't have seen my car. They wouldn't have seen me. They wouldn't have known it. It was us, right? But I didn't have a gun. I was acting like I had a gun, but I didn't have a gun. And that's a mistake that I know now because that same clandestine area, it'd been easy for us to be laying up in that car all day. Because when I stopped, I pulled over, he pulled next to me. This cat had a Uzi in his front seat, a Uzi, right? So, he pulls it up. Yo, y'all got problems, y'all got problems. And my boy, I told him to lean back in his seat so he really couldn't get a good look at him, right? To make sure he's probably trying to confirm that it was him in the front seat. So he leaned back real good and was just, not looking at him and nothing like that. And I said, nah, we good, man. What's going on? What's your problem? All that kind of stuff, right? He said, oh no, I just want to make sure y'all good, y'all good. Yeah, we good. What's wrong with you? He's like, oh, don't worry about me. He was just talking stuff. As if he was about something, if he was about it, that's the term we used to use back in the day, he'd start busting as soon as he saw us. But he was, luckily, thank God, praise God, he wasn't about it. I'm here today. No bullet wounds, nothing. Because he wasn't about it. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't bring a gun because honestly, as soon as he pulled up, I would have started smacking his car with bullets. And him. Because I'm not dumb. So I'm too paranoid to let somebody do something like that. But again, I'd like to thank you guys for listening to Story Time with Truck Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. And I saw that comment before you deleted it. And also, like to let you guys know, if you make a comment on my channel that has any profanity in it, I won't see the comment because I put filters on my channel. I don't really like the cussing on my channel, and but sometimes you guys is cussing in regular conversation, but some of the stuff can be vulgar. So what I do is if I go through I go through my filter maybe once or twice a week, if I see it's just, some regular old cuss stuff that you hear every day, that I used to hear in the prison like 24/7 when I used to be a chaplain, then I'll okay the comment and then I'll respond. But if you if you want a fast response or something like that, do not use profanity because I'll never see the comment. It'll go into my spam folder. It'll do all that kind of stuff. But thank you again for subscribing. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, go to Patreon. And I'm only asking for $1 to $5 a month. Well, $2 to $5 a month. One's a little too low, $2 to $5 a month. I'm also on Instagram now. I'm going to start doing some more stuff on Instagram. So if you want to see some small stories and videos and stuff like that, even me shooting, I got a shooting party coming up, man, in the spring of about 10 people, God willing. At least 10 people, and we're gonna make some nice videos for you guys. So again, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is coming soon. Pay attention to the news. Pay attention to what's going on, because I'm telling you, time is short, and it's nothing wrong with living your life, but it's better to live your life for Christ, because I'm telling you, when Jesus comes back, he's gonna be real serious. He's gonna be throwing a whole lot of people into hell. All right, a lot of people won't get judged. So God bless you. Love you all. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the support. Thank you for my new Patreon people. Love you guys. Peace.